Oh, this is the meeting of the City of St. Louis Soldiers Memorial Commission. Today is Thursday, September 19th, 2024, and it is 3:05 p.m. My name is Linnea Magnuson, and I chair the commission. And we will proceed according to the agenda. And the first thing on the agenda is a roll call of Soldiers Memorial Commissioners. So in alphabetical order, I'm going to call Commissioner Barjay. I know she's going to be absent. Commissioner Richard Bradley, he is going to be absent. Freddie Dunlap. Not seen Freddie join. Commissioner Fletcher.
Here.
Yep. I myself am here, Linnea Magnuson. Commissioner Hansis. He's here. You saw her. Commissioner Hansis, got your volume on?
Yeah, no, I turned it on, set it on mute. Sorry.
And Commissioner Yampolsky, who I have not seen, so I don't think so. All right. And the next thing on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I have a flag here. Real quick, if I can get this up. Share my screen here. We'll go to. Okay. Judith, would you lead us in the pledge? Please. Maybe she turned her microphone off. In that case, Jason, would you lead us in the pledge?
Sure.
I was trying to behave.
Okay. You want me to? Sure.
Sure,
I'd be honored.
Sure.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Jason.
Sure.
So the next thing on the agenda kind of is just maybe an update on what's going on, Mark, at Soldiers Memorial, and maybe a little bit about the upcoming Soldiers Memorial Commission, Soldiers St. Louis Regional Veterans Day observance on November 9th. It's coming up in a few months from now. You could just give us an update, that would be great.
Certainly. Let me pull up my notes here. Well, first I wanted to introduce a couple of folks. First is Robin Bischoff. Robin is our new collections assistant, so working with Kate in the collection storage at 1520 Market. So Robin was actually a MHS employee up at the Library and Research Center that was doing mostly cataloging for a while. So comes knowing MHS and knowing St. Louis. And so we're very, very fortunate to have Robin on board. Robin, I don't know if you want to say a few words and introduce yourself.
So I'm Robin Bischoff. I've been working here for about 2 months, and so it's been really interesting, and I'm really happy to be here. So yeah.
Thanks, Robin. And then I'd like to introduce Andrew Schleicher. Andrew's been around Soldiers for longer than me. Andrew started as an intern with Linnea. What year was that, Andrew? 2014. So it's been around 10 years now. Right on.
Off and on. So I think off and on. So cumulatively about 6+ years.
Yeah. So Andrew, the last few years has been our a visitor navigator. So at the front desk, and then that was a part-time job, and just promoted him into a full-time position as the visitor experience coordinator, really handling all aspects of the visitor experience at Soldiers Memorial. So Andrew has done an outstanding job of welcoming people and getting them comfortable with their visit here to Soldiers and providing all kinds of information. He's also he's an excellent researcher and writer. So he's been working on a number of special projects, especially stuff for the outdoors. One major one is the development of a outdoor large folding brochure / map that will provide information on the outdoor spaces, which we right now lack completely. And so there's anybody visiting outside can't get any information on the different memorials, the different monuments and whatnot. So Andrew's putting that together, and we'll have that posted both in a place where people can access it outside and also inside here. So doing some cool projects like that, as well as the standard introduction and navigating for folks.
Can I just say one thing real quick? It was a really good day when Andrew came through the doors at Soldiers Memorial. And so I'm very happy that you're on board, Andrew. You've done a lot of good work since you've been here. And yeah, just really happy that you're on board full-time employee.
Thank you, Linnea. That means a lot hearing that from you.
Well, I really mean it. So
yeah, it took us longer than we wanted to get him in full-time, but we were able to do it. And then to get Robin in full-time working with Kate makes everything so much better here and run more smoothly and efficiently. So thank you both for being with us. Means a lot. We take the mission very seriously, supporting local veterans, memorializing those who we've lost, sharing their histories. And so you're part of a important and very meaningful mission that a lot of St. Louisans really take to heart. So thank you for your work. That's all I had on operations. I don't know, Linnea, I was going to maybe give you a chance, or I think Vernon has retired, I believe that's.
yeah, Vernon Ambus is retiring as of October 1st.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But he has vacation days that he's taking before then. So yeah, and many of you know, he's had vision issues for, well, as long as I've known him. But he's got some, I should say, escalating problems with his eyes that are getting worse. And so that he kind of needs that to be taken care of as well, as maybe just, I don't know, Vernon's going to be 70 here in October. So for a long time.
Yeah.
And so.
He definitely was a friend of all the staff, as much jibing and banter and whatnot that you could always count on him for. It was always good natured and in the best of spirits, and so we'll definitely miss him here.
I really learned so much from him, just about everything, not just Soldiers Memorial related, but just about life. He's got a lot of information that other people don't have, and he has a lot of wisdom that he's accumulated, and he knows how to talk to everybody. And he's really a character, and he had a lot of personality that he brought to Soldiers Memorial. And I know a lot of people are going to remember his era, sort of, if you will, at Soldiers Memorial. He is another person who came to Soldiers Memorial as a kid. So that's very special too.
Yeah, he always told me the story. He said he was looking for the library.
Yeah.
He came into Soldiers Memorial and found out he liked this a lot better than the library. And so he kept coming back.
Yeah.
When I first met him, it was this joy of life and joy of being around other people. That was just so clear about him, that he loved being there.
You know, that's the thing. No matter how down I was or how bad things were going, he always made me laugh every day, you know. And he took a lot of hits in his life, a lot of things that maybe could have gone better for him in many ways, but he just seemed to roll with things very well. And talk about a family of public service. His sister was a St. Louis City police officer. I think everybody else in his family is basically military and also firefighter for the city of St. Louis. Grew up at Pruitt-Igoe, so just a real treasure. And I'm very glad that he was in my life. I can say that.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked a little bit as a staff this morning, and I think we're trying to put together a kind of a party of sorts at Hodak's, which I think is one of Vernon's places. So we'll definitely, if we get that, sure we'll get that lined up, and we'll send invitations to all the commissioners, make sure you know when it's happening. So like to attend. I'd certainly need to rib him some more, I think, before.
Yeah,
I feel like he's got the upper hand right now. So I need to see him again. Anyway, we're definitely gonna miss him here at Soldiers Memorial. Yeah.
on Andrew's first day, Andrew, can you tell him, do you mind telling the $20 story if you remember it?
Oh, I do. So when I first walked into Soldiers Memorial, it was like in the middle of the spring semester of 2014. I was supposed to come in for like a pre-internship interview. I actually never even really set foot in Soldiers Memorial. I'd only been outside it, so I had like no clue where to go or where everything was. So, but the first person I saw was Vernon. He said, "You're looking for Linnea?" I said, "Yeah." "That'll be $20, please." And like an idiot, I gave it to him. So he took it, said, "Follow me," turned around and just broke out, busted out laughing.
Yeah, that's Vernon. Yep.
Did you get your $20 back?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he more than once kept asking me again for more $20, and I said, "No, you're not getting me again."
That's Vernon. Yeah.
Great.
Thanks, Andrew.
All right. So that's what I had for operations, some staffing things. Events and programs, past ones, so the ones that have happened since we last met. One was Pride Fest, so that was late June. We had incredible attendance and were able to convert a lot of folks who were either bathroom users or air conditioning folks into going into the galleries, which is always a big win for us. And we had, I think, over a couple hundred people enter each gallery each day. So it was a major success. And then up on the second floor, we used the building one on the one end where the kind of the classrooms are, that we used that for a room we called the chill room, and we were giving veterans and active military and members of the historical society free sodas and water and granola bars and snacks and whatnot. That worked very well as well. And then in the assembly hall, we showed a film kind of on a loop, cycling about it's called The Strange History of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Kind of the path of that policy from beginning to end. So we'll do something similar again next year. It worked really well. Event organizer was friendly and helpful. Told them that they need more tables or places to eat, which were largely absent. So a lot of folks sat on the north steps of Soldiers Memorial to eat because there basically wasn't any other place to sit down, either in the grass or on the curb or something. But so a lot of folks sat on the stairs. So we asked for make sure they provide more tables next year. But overall, it goes well. I mean, as you all know, we get completely enveloped by that festival. It's on all sides of us. So it's really a matter of making the best of that situation. You know, most other festivals are either on our east side typically, but this one is big, so it completely surrounds us. But it's been going pretty well. People were respectful, and it worked nicely. Then rolling into July, we did the grant symposium, the U.S. grant. Always a good event for us. We had probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 people here all day for that. There were 4 sessions. We had the Senator Roy Blunt was one of the speakers. He's quite a historian and is very knowledgeable about Grant, and talked mostly about his presidency and his role in the making sure that the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments were actually deployed the way they were supposed to be and fulfilled the way they were supposed to be, which Johnson, after Lincoln, was not too interested in, but Grant really stepped up to the plate on civil rights and whatnot. And that was a great presentation from Senator Blunt, who also was instrumental in getting Grant awarded his sixth General Star. So that happened last year, I think. So now Grant and Pershing and Washington are the three generals that have earned the 6 stars. And so 2 of those have a very direct Missouri connection, both Pershing and Grant. So that's kind of cool. And then rolling into August, we did the matinees at the memorial. So we started this last year and changed it up a little bit this year, and partnered with our development team to turn it into basically like a member event, but it worked phenomenally. We we showed Oppenheimer and we showed the Ghost Army documentary, and both times the assembly hall was filled. So 80 to 100 people in the assembly hall. Just wildly popular. Was making fresh pop. We rented a popcorn maker, so we were making fresh popcorn, and which was dished out in these little plastic camouflage helmets, which people loved. It was fun. So we did those matinees in August, and then it's September now. So so we recently had Rick Beyer visit, and that's connected to upcoming event. Rick Beyer is the producer and director of the Ghost Army documentary, and also the author of this book here, Ghost Army, how one top secret unit deceived the enemy with inflatable tanks, sound effects, and other audacious fakery. Pretty great book. He's coming back in November, but he was here a couple of weeks ago, mostly talking to our volunteer docents and the staff to get us all a little more knowledgeable and comfortable with the exhibit, the Ghost Army exhibit, which will open next Wednesday. The member premiere, which you all should have got invitations to, will be the morning of Tuesday, September 24th. And that will start at 10 a.m. and will go until 1 p.m. So you'll have the opportunity to get some breakfast from Sugar Fire, catered breakfast. We'll be having some short remarks at 10 a.m. About the exhibit and some thank yous and whatnot. And then after that, we're going to show the DVD again in the assembly hall. So folks will have the option of either getting breakfast, watching the DVD, or heading straight down to the exhibit to take the exhibit in. So that should be a nice premiere event. We have over 200 people that are registered for that event. So it's going to be a very full Soldiers Memorial, which is always the best thing. Anyway, that's September, and then we roll into November. The Veterans Day Parade and Observance is on Saturday, November 9th. Judith and Lieutenant Beckett have secured Lieutenant General Jared Helwig, who's the Deputy Commander of U.S. Transcom, as the Grand Marshal. And just another note on Veterans Day, I'm meeting with a man named Dustin Rowe. He's a Iraq War combat veteran, and now he runs, he's an event organizer, basically. He does big events, special events. So he actually did Pride Fest this year. He just did a big thing out in Illinois called Songs for Soldiers, which is a 2-day kind of concert. I wrote to Dustin a couple of weeks ago and said, I'd like to explore what it would take to create a big festival for Veterans Day. And he's interested. It obviously, number one, would take a lot of money. So I need to get some dollar figures from him to know what it would take. And then, I'm confident that with a philanthropy in St. Louis, that we could probably find the right sponsor for it. And if we can kind of turn it over to Dustin, I think he could, he would have the passion. I know that as a combat veteran, but he'd also would have the interest and the skill and the time to create kind of a festival around that, which would be pretty cool. And we'll keep the parade, but we're going to have a first kind of chat next week, and just to see what he thinks and where he thinks it could go. then on November 24th, Rick Beyer comes back. December 8th, we're having kind of the first annual Wendell Pruitt Celebration of African American Service, bringing in Dr. Delmont, who's at Dartmouth. He's written a book recently on African American experiences during World War II, both in service and at home. So he's going to come and provide a keynote address on his book and book signing. That's kind of it's a nod to the original Wendell Pruitt Day, which was December 12th, Andrew, or 14th? Remember? I think Andrew. Maybe.
I don't know off the top of my head.
12th or 14th, 1944. So Pruitt was a Tuskegee Airman. He was a fighter ace, credited with downing numerous enemy aircraft, along with, I believe, a naval ship. Came home early December. The city had what was called Wendell Pruitt Day. It was meant to have a big parade. There's a picture of him receiving a gold watch, I think, from the mayor. It was quite the to-do. And so kind of in a nod to that history, we're starting this as an annual event. And so we'll have some heavy hors d'oeuvres and a little bit of a reception time, and then into the keynote address.
He was from St. Louis?
Yep.
That's
yep.
awesome. Is that why one of our in middle schools is named Pruitt Military School?
Yep.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and namesake of the Pruitt IGO. Those are two different individuals.
That's okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. That's
I figured as much, but I never confirmed that. That's great.
Yeah, he was incredible. A fighter pilot. Tragically, he came back in April of 45 to train other pilots at Tuskegee, and died in a accident, in a crash, an aircraft crash accident. So that's kind of a fatal loss of his life. But yeah, certainly a St. Louis hero.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yep. So we're doing that. And then we're also in December, we're going to do the Army-Navy football game, which we have talked about for a few years, but haven't pulled the trigger. There's a lot of other places that do the game. You know, Mac downtown does it and does a good one. And there's a lot happening at different Legion posts and VFW posts. So we're going to try it. We think that with our, there's over 4,000 members in the Historical Society, that tapping into that group, that we can fill the assembly hall. And so we're gonna try it, and we're gonna see how it works. And if it works well, then we'll do it annually. But that's a new one this year. So that's the events. Exhibits, of course. Ghost Army, the Combat Con Artists of World War II opens next Wednesday, I'm sorry, September 25th. That only runs through January 12th. So certainly if you have friends or family that are coming into St. Louis for the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, other holidays, please come by. January will be here before we know it. So I'm warning people not to procrastinate.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
Well, I was going to ask, is that did we have an infantry or some kind of division that was the Ghost Army, or was that enemy? Okay.
Yep. So it's the history is absolutely fascinating. It's they basically went into France on the heels of D-Day, and they were kind of use a four-pronged approach to deceiving the Germans. They had, of course, visual stuff like inflatable tanks, inflatable howitzers. They also used sonic deception. So this is kind of cutting edge technology at the time, but they did recordings at Fort Campbell in Kentucky of tanks and Jeeps and other sounds that armies make when they're moving into a location. So they recorded all that onto a wire recorder, kind of the predecessor of the cassette tape, and then played it from these 500-pound speakers off the back of half-track vehicles over in Europe. And One of the
Can't
cool
wait to
things
see
with the
that.
story, their attention to detail is just remarkable. So, you know, like those sound recordings, they would adjust for weather conditions. They would adjust for like the Doppler effect. So as you know, as vehicles move in, they get louder. As they move out, the noise diminish. They thought these guys thought of everything.
Yeah,
So they did that, and then they had a unit that was just doing what they called special effects, which was creating like they were basically like counterfeit patches of real army units, but they couldn't get for whatever army reason they couldn't get the actual unit patches. So if they were trying to impersonate like the 6th Armored Division, they were making their own patches because they were running across people in these French towns that they suspected either the Germans had left behind as they fled, retreated across France, or had other intelligence sources. So there's all just these like fascinating aspects.
that is so awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Can't wait to see that exhibit too. My
yeah.
gosh.
It's really cool. And the other thing is like a lot of these guys were artists.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of artwork in the exhibit. They were sketching, doing watercolors, a lot of stuff like this while they were in France. So there's a lot of that work in the exhibits. And I mean, these guys were good artists. They weren't hacked. A lot of them were pulled out of or had volunteered out of the Pratt Institute in New York, which is a leading art school at the time. And
Okay.
yeah, highly talented.
Yeah,
Really
that's
cool,
awesome.
really fun exhibit. Very, very different. We hope that it really has an appeal to kids and people who, like that, creative aspect of life and kind of get into that stuff. So yeah.
Great.
And then we're doing 2 banner shows at the MAC. Thank you to Judith to making this happen every year. But the new one that we developed this year is called The Soldier's Best Friend. And we have photographs both in the Soldiers Memorial Collection and the Historical Society collection of dogs with either service members or units. So we picked out kind of 9 gems that we really liked and turned that into a banner show. So it's very kind of fun and lighthearted. But then the final banner in that show actually has a list of organizations that try to connect veterans, especially those suffering from PTSD and other issues, with dogs who make excellent companions. So that's kind of listed as a resource on that last banner. So that's pretty cool. That's a fun one. It's going up MAC downtown, and then we're sending the St. Louis ships, the 7 ships, back to MAC West. And so it's been a few years, and we don't have 2 new ones this year. We just have the 1 new one, so they're going to get a repeat, but they'll like it. It's been at least 4 years probably since it's been there. But yeah, so it's those are a couple of the exhibits that are happening. And then the only thing that I really have in collections was the collections committee met on Tuesday, maybe. I can't remember. I think it was Tuesday, and discussed and approved a policy that'll guide collection staff through handling objects that are deemed found in collections. So that was a great meeting, great discussion, and got that policy approved for Kate and Robin. And that's all I got. Happy to take any questions or comments.
A lot going on. That's good.
Yeah. And the programs this summer were they landed really well. They were just all really well attended, which is very different for us. We've struggled with programs in the past, but they're all really hitting this summer, which is great.
All
And
good.
no, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, if I may comment, I did look up Wendell Pruitt Day is indeed the 12th of December. And when you mentioned that, reminded me of another thing I'm working on, because there's another anniversary coming up this year that I'm actually writing a blog post about, and I think it would be of interest to the commission. On December 14th, we'll be approaching the 80th anniversary of a massacre of prisoners of war at Palawan in the Philippines. This is in World War II. So Palawan specifically was a prisoner of war camp where the prisoners were forced to build an airfield for the Japanese using only basic hand tools, and which that combined with low rations and disease made them grow weaker by the day. As the U.S. started to retake the Philippines, the Japanese guards panicked, faked an air raid, and had the prisoners, 150 at the time, gather in these air raid bunkers, after which they set the bunkers on fire. 139 of the prisoners were killed and only 11 survived. It was December 14th, 1944. There's two reasons why I'm writing a blog post about this, because there's two major St. Louis connections. One, 123 of the victims are buried together in a group burial at Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery. They were buried there because they were so badly damaged that most of the remains could not be individually identified, only collectively identified. The other St. Louis connection is among the victims are 3 people from the greater St. Louis area. So that's, let me get the names here. Joseph Charles Glacken Jr. from St. Louis City, Carol F. Spindler from Edwardsville, and Homer E. Swinney from Hawk Point, Missouri. That's in Lincoln County. There's not try as much as I can to kind of follow their story. I'm only able to really talk in general terms because with a lot of POWs, there aren't a lot of individual records surviving. But I am able to glean a lot contextually from the people who did survive and the oral histories and books that they left behind.
That's
Thank
great.
you. That's incredible. That's really great. That's the stuff that you do very well. And yeah, you've got everything going correctly. Connection, the significance, you've got the context. That's great work, Andrew. Really great work.
Yep.
Have anything else to add? Yeah, I guess I can call for, let's see here. For questions, new business, or announcements? Any questions, new business?
In here.
Okay, all
Well,
right.
I would
I
like
have a
to,
question. I have a question for Mark. When are the parade application forms going to go out?
soon. As soon as possible.
Well, I'm just going to be gone for a couple of weeks here,
Okay,
and I did tell Molly which ones I was going to
okay,
complete. So
okay.
I don't intend to spend any of my vacation time filling out
Yeah,
applications for the parade.
yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, we're gonna get it out as soon as possible. We're kind of treading water right now with the installation of the Ghost Army exhibit. Things have been very busy. So we're a little bit behind on the Vets Day, but we'll get there as soon as possible. But yeah, we definitely know we're a step behind on that now.
Thanks.
Yep, you bet. I was gonna add kind of as maybe as a little bit of new business, but I just wanted to let you know, Linnea, and others on the commission know that we're working to install a hybrid Zoom system here at Soldiers. So if and when you'd like to go back to at least a hybrid setting, I'll let you know when that's installed, but we're kind of making that investment. We do other meetings here as well, like the stand-up committee, our stand-down committee meets here monthly, and it just seemed like a good use of some resources to get that technology into the building. So it'll allow people to join meetings either from afar or in the building simultaneously.
Yeah, I know one thing I think of when I think of COVID is that all this Zoom technology, and in some ways it's frustrating because people don't get together to meet. But when I think of all the lectures and talks I attend when people are in places like Rome or London, it's just a tremendous opportunity to bring in, people who are interested in military history and Soldiers Memorial who can't physically make it to Soldiers Memorial or live afar. So I think it's a great way to reach out as well. So I really appreciate that, Mark. I think that's a really good use.
Yeah, we will have that ability too, to like broadcast a speaker in the assembly hall, in a live setting, so that the speaker would be up on the screen addressing a live audience, like you said, Linnea, from anywhere, right? Anywhere you can get onto the internet, which is around the globe. So yeah, there's some cool opportunities to kind of think big like that, but then also just the regular meetings as well.
And I was thinking,
What we're finding with the committee is that, if we hold it live, if we hold the meetings live, attendance really suffers. And if you hold it Zoom, then there's folks who don't like that, right? They want the personal in-person thing. So for the committee, we said, well, let's try to do this hybrid now. And they have a similar system up at the History Museum already. So I said, well, let's get one down at Soldiers so we can do that stuff down there too.
that's great. And I was thinking specifically of your programming going out,
Yeah, there's that too, right?
I was thinking of that way, whatever it is that could reach more people that maybe don't live around St. Louis anymore, or just have a general interest in this sort of thing, that to get sponsors and members and to spread, history of, or to spread.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
You got a little choppy
sorry.
there.
You know what? You know what that was? Bruce Samposky just called me.
Oh,
So
really?
anyway, that's why there was interruption. So yes, I apologize about that. I'm just mentioning that because that's kind of funny, actually. Yeah, Bruce just called me, and so anyway, I'll have to call him back after the meeting. So I apologize. Kind of goofy. So
All right.
does anybody have anything else? Questions, announcements, anything else at all?
I move, we adjourn.
Second.
Second, please. Right. All those in favor of adjourning the September 19th, 2024 Soldiers Memorial Commission meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Any opposed? No. Abstentions? No. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.